Hello, Andy here, and today I'm going to fit some bar end mirrors to my BSA Goldstar. What could possibly go wrong? These are the bar end mirrors. These are the tech ones. They are E-marked and they come complete with the fitting bolts. Now these came straight off a BSA Goldstar, so the fitting should be identical. But you know what it's like, it's me, anything could go wrong. But let me remind you, as ever, if I can do it, so can you. What tools are we going to need? We're just going to need very simple assemblage. We've got a measure, we've got a 5mm hex key and some Loctite, plus this, which is the most important thing. This will help protect my fuel tank and any other vulnerable bits in the vicinity from things like drop tools or washers or other things. So let's put that one on first. But before we do anything else, the next task will be to do some measurements. So there are some questions to be answered before I actually do the fitting. The first is it going to fit in my shed? Bar end mirrors can potentially add a little bit of width because they are a little bit wider. That's the whole point. They give you a bit more vision. But have I got enough wiggle room here to get my bike in and out safely without damaging anything, mirror or shed? Right, so the width of the shed, which we've got to get the bike into, is approximately 940mm. Okay, so we know what space we've got. We know what we want to do, which is have better vision at the back. We want to perhaps have less vibration on bar end mirrors. But do they really do that? Well, the only way to test that is once they're on, and I'll do a road test comparing against some footage I've got with my old mirrors. All right, let's measure the bars and the mirrors currently. So bar width, 820. Mirrors, a bit more tricky these, just about the same. So that gives us theoretically about 100 to 120mm, depending on how you measure them, that I've got to play with putting the bike in and out of the shed. But that doesn't answer the other questions, which is about what it's like filtering, which I can only answer by riding the bike, and also what they like in terms of vibration reduction, and of course the other thing, which is the coolness factor. How cool do they look? Because one thing I've got a slight concern about is these bar end mirrors are in a silver finish, and everything else on this bike, at least in the bar areas, is black apart from the actual levers. So I've put the cover over the tank. Shouldn't be any damage. I think the thing we've got to do now is take these bar ends off and see what lies underneath. Initial time is 12 hours 18 minutes. Right, first one loosened. So it should be a straightforward replacement, but will it be a straightforward replacement? A very long screw there. That comes off, and it's obviously got some thread locking compound on there to help it keep on. So let's put that to one side. That's the original bar end weight, quite heavy. This is the replacement. So again, it's the same size actual mirror, it's just the placement is slightly different. So this should offer up straight to here, which it obviously does, but there is a bit of a gap in the middle, and I think that is for where the sleeve comes in, so I'll show you that. So the fixings are, again, Allen bolt with this collar, which I think is a spacer to go behind. This is already mounted onto here, so there is Allen key mounting the bar end bit, but I think what happens is the Allen key goes through here, and I'll just offer it to start with, then I'll add some Loctite once I've got it to my satisfaction. So this should go something like that, which I think it will. Okay, let's get some Loctite on and re-offer it. I'll spend some time adjusting it a little bit later. If If you watch the original instructions, tech say very clearly that Loctite is important. You can't get away with just tightening these up. If you do, that can cause damage. So let's try and do this in a way that bits don't go everywhere. We have applied some to these surfaces here. That should give a degree of hold, plus some to the actual screw threads. This goes through there. That goes on there. Now I'm not sure which way those collets go because there is no clear guidance in the instructions. This seems to screw onto there pretty well. So let's get this right. Right, so the first thing I can see, you can't have both on at once because they will interfere with each other. I guess if you had some longer stem ones you could theoretically, but then you get that kind of Vespa Lambretta look, which we're not aiming for that here. But I positioned this as near vertical as I can. There are one or two marks on these which I think will come off with a bit of cleaning and polishing. Remember, they are second hand, so no instructions, no guidance apart from the original stuff, which is helpful but not entirely clear, let's just say. So there we've got one on the bars there. I'm just going to adjust that a bit more to the same angle as this, more or less, but I will adjust later. I just knit that up. Knit that up a bit more. The main concern might be that you end up with mismatched angles. So that's one done. Let's get the other one done and take this off. I've just already loosened this off a little bit because it's just quite tight to get past the... Right, that's the normal mirrors off. Now I'm not going to take anything off there, but I will ultimately install a blanking plate if, that is, I keep these on. Let's focus on the other mirror. Okay, so right hand bar and mirror, right hand mirror. There we are, that's loosened him off. These are quite heavy and ungainly actually. I think in terms of weight, they're probably about the same, but of course these are mostly made of steel and these are mostly made of alloy. Next step is get the cap off and see if we can fit that without causing any pressure on the throttle side. Wasn't too difficult to remove this one. It's less stiff than the other. Remember, I think there are Allen keys in the BSA toolkit, so if you're really struggling, there may be one there which will work. Don't forget, the weight of these bar end weights also contributes to the weight of the mirrors. So this, it's a little bit more critical because we don't want to be giving pressure on the throttle side. It's got to be a little bit of leeway. So once again, not doing the Loctite yet, I'm just offering this up. So I forgot to know which way around this goes. Just give it a loose tighten up just to make sure this isn't fouling the throttle cable, because, sorry, the throttle itself. And there's just a little bit of friction there. Is that... yeah. I think I might put a little bit of a washer on this. Second try with these. Now I'm going to put a little washer on to see if that will be enough, just to give it a bit of extra distance. Again, just to see whether this will clear the throttle. Because we can't have a sticking throttle, that's not a wise idea. There we go. That just gives you enough, just enough to ensure that the throttle moves freely. Right, so we can get on with tightening this up now. So what I'll do is I'll come back to you when I've got everything in a basic position, and then we'll look at final adjustment on the bike, take it out for a run, and then I'll deliver my verdict. Are these a good thing, or are they just a vain gewgaw that we like to put on our bikes to make us look cool, because undoubtedly they are cool. Okay, so there we have it. The bar end mirrors are attached. Now, I stress, this is only an initial setup. So what I need to do is get them adjusted properly. To do that, I need probably to take out the Allen bolt, clean it, then add some more Loctite, then get them set up properly. And the only way I can really do that is by taking the bike out on a run. At the same time, I can test the ability of the mirrors to provide a clear view of what's behind you at different speeds. So I'm going to use the Aoocci and its more accurate GPS speed. So now would be a great time to remind you that you can get a 22% discount on this unit by applying the code CMD22 at checkout. Link in the description. To recall what speed I'm doing, so I'm going to test it at 50, 60 and 70 and see just how well the mirrors cope with that. And then of course there's the style quotient. They match my vision for what my bike wants to look like. They're anodized and the rest of the bike is black, or not all the rest of the bike, but certainly quite a bit of the bike. Plus I need to sort these out with blanking plates as well, because they look a bit ugly. But anyway, the first test, which we'll do now, is we'll put the bike in the shed. Can we get the bike in the shed? If we can, that means we can get it out. So that's test number 1, and in part 2 we'll take the bike out and do those on the road tests. What's the vision like? What's the look like? You know, do they present any hazard in traffic? Okay, so that's been it for this particular video. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. Keeps the channel growing, helps us deliver better content to you, and I'll see you in part 2. Bye for now.